So if we look at the development work for this candidate for the Cezanne project, we see that his painting skills for his first piece of development have improved substantially from when he did the Cezanne copy. He has really picked out the areas of Cezanne's work which he wants to concentrate on and highlight in his work. We have a picture of his first piece of development, and then we have step-by-step photographs of the painting being completed and commentary on that. You'll note on this page is no actual artwork, which I think lets it down somewhat. If we look at his second piece of development, again, we see step-by-step pictures and then a picture of the final piece and then commentary on the areas of Cezanne's work which he relates his work to in this piece of development. If we look at the final work which appears in the exhibition, we see the two pictures which have been photographed and appear in his sketchbook. So again, to note, there is no artwork in the sketchbook for this candidate. So if we look at second candidate, so this is his first piece of development. Again, one can see a substantial improvement in skill. Now he's coming to terms on what aspects of Cezanne's work he wants to include in his own work. We have step-by-step photographs showing the final painting being produced, plus some artwork, and here is the final picture. If we look at his second piece of development, again we have step-by-step stages, we have some artwork, but then we have this flap out area which doesn't relate to his second piece of development but relates to his third piece of development. So he's got composition showing the examiner the arrangement and why he's used this arrangement of objects. Again, we have step-by-step stages of the painting being produced, and this is the final painting. So as you can see, the work for this candidate isn't quite as comprehensive as for this one, which is a level higher. Finally, if we look at the artwork on the wall, we see those three pieces of development reflected and displayed. And lastly, if we look at, again, another example, next stage up. So for development work, we have more photographs, lots of examples of a new setup he's produced, more substantial artwork trying to come to terms with Cezanne's techniques. Again, more examples of work, again in a different material. Cezanne worked with oil paint and worked in watercolour. Lots of quite in-depth commentary and annotations regarding the techniques he's using. Further development on card using acrylic now, relating it back to Cezanne's paintings, which you didn't see the other candidates do in picture format, but they did write about it. So you'll see a lot more artwork here in the development. a lot more experimentation. He's coming on to his third piece of development. Here he's experimenting on some canvas. And again, you can see he's come back to another setup he's done. So you can see there's evidence that he set up two different still lifes in the Stylus Cezanne. One which is in more low light conditions, and then the original setup. And now, if we look at the final development pieces, which are displayed as part of the exhibition, we see a higher standard and more substantial pieces of artwork. So this is a good example of a student who has chosen to do a new final piece in Year 11. His final piece then from Year 10 becomes his third piece of development, which you can see here. And then below it you have this long, thin final piece, which was produced in Year 11. Sometimes students still decide to produce a new final piece in Year 11, but still only enter two pieces of development. The third piece of development, quite often the first one they did, becomes an extra piece of work they cut up or stick into a sketchbook, maybe in a series of flapouts.